Can you love someone without losing yourself? Oh, there's an echo.
It's
Oh,
probably
there's a
me. Let me
bad
know.
echo.
It's me. I think I'm driving. Hold on.
Terrible, terrible echo.
Okay, so I'll repeat it again for the audience. Can you love someone without losing yourself? Beyonda, if you want to go first, you can.
Well, can you? Yes, of course. But a lot of times people dive 100% in when dating somebody. So they're all about that other person to the point where like they like abandon what they stand for, you know? So I think that a lot of people, young people nowadays, including myself at times, have an identity issue where they don't know who they are outside of like that relationship. You know what I mean? Me and my fiance was talking the other day, and we were talking about how like we're pretty like grounded in Christ, I'd say. I mean, we have our faults and whatnot, but we came to the conclusion that, hey, listen, obviously, like, we're not wishing anything happens where we break up, but like, if we did, there'd be a peace because I know who I am with Christ. Many people can't say that because they're so codependent with that other person that, like, if they lost that person, they wouldn't be able to function, which is very prevalent nowadays because people are so codependent and emotional now that it's hard for them to, like, be confident who they are and be secure in what they want in someone, you know? I'll land there.
Okay. Dr. Love, you there?
I am, but I think I've got an echo, haven't I?
You don't now.
Okay.
Oh wait, no, you do. But
I do.
this is what I'll do. It's only when I talk, so I'll answer the prompt and then I'll go on mute.
Okay.
Can you? Well, I'll ask you. Can you love someone without losing yourself? Go ahead, Dr. Love.
Can you love someone without losing yourself? I think if you have healthy boundaries put in place, yes. But do we actually put these healthy boundaries in place? Probably not, because when you fall in love with someone, you're all goo goo gaga. And I think it is different for men and women, how we respond. I think from a woman's point of view, when we love, we're all in. When we are all in. So we kind of make a lot of sacrifices and I would say a lot of compromises. And some of those may become unhealthy, and I consider anything unhealthy when it's something that doesn't align with who you are. For me, that is unhealthy. But from experience I'm speaking to, I have done it over and over again myself because I am a giver in a relationship. So I kind of tend to, give more than what I get in return. So I think from there, important lessons are learned. And, you can only try and test them in the next one. But I think we generally do give. And it can become unhealthy. Absolutely.
All right, CeeLo, what's going on, CeeLo?
Oh my god, this prompt is so. Can you love someone without losing yourself? Philosophically, yes. But when it comes to the reality, I'm a very hardcore guy when it comes to the love. So I ponder, for me to truly love someone, I have to think about that person and care about them deeply. But at the same time, I also realize it depends on how I balance that with my own priorities, I guess if I keep my priorities in a place and love the person I care about it in a healthy way, I won't lose the track of who I am. But again, I also understand that if I start loving without setting any limits or boundaries, I might probably lose who I am. So it's about what is my chemistry with that person and where I am at. What are my priorities? What are my objectives? What I am aspiring for in a relationship does matter to me. So philosophically, yes. But when it comes to the reality, I gave a priority to my objective first before I love someone. So my priorities, my goal, my strong determination, what I am looking for in my life comes first, and then other things happen simultaneously. This is my take on the prompt.
Okay, good timing. Hey, Miss CJ, how you doing, Miss CJ?
I'm doing great. I really appreciate you again allowing me to come to your plan, your platform that the man above bless you with. Good afternoon and good evening to everybody on the platform. No disrespect to no one. Yeah, I agree with this man here, CeeLo, because you see, you have to love yourself first. You can't bother going at nothing else. If you can't love yourself, you can't even fix nothing else. If you can't fix yourself. So yeah, Fifth, I wanted to talk what you're talking about, but I allow you to ask me the question. So yeah, you must love yourself first.
Yes, yes. Yes, the prompt is, can you love someone without losing yourself? Go ahead, Miss CJ.
Yeah, I think, but that's a great prompt. Can love your someone, but without losing yourself. So the first thing is, one, to me, this is my natural opinion. Before I hit 50, right? So when you're going in a relationship or anything, you need to know yourself. Let's start there. For me, that is my solution to it. In whether it's right or wrong, I don't know. But a lot of accents up here. Yeah. I'm Yardy girl. So let me slow it down a little bit. You need to love yourself first. In order to love yourself first, accept whatever it is that you are, whatever you accomplish, whatever you didn't accomplish, whatever you're trying to accomplish. Start getting to know you, like what you like to do, what you like to listen to, what colors you like. It's within yourself, And after you do that, then I believe so that you have the opportunity to start loving on someone else. Because someone else, if they don't want to be with you, or they don't want you in their life, I should say, you should be able, after, if that conclusion come apart, you should be able to just sit there and say, you know what? I can stand by myself still, because I accept me for who I am, not for what a person look upon me. So that is where I'm at so far.
Yeah, so to go further into the context of the topic, compromising, right? So let's do this, right? When do you know that you're compromising too much in a relationship and you're realizing that it's actually become one-sided? What are some of the signs and indicators to when that is taking place? Whoever wants to answer that first can go. Whoever who wants to unmute first.
I don't know. When do you realize it? That's one thing.
Yeah, what are the signs and indicators that you find yourself compromising so much and the other person is not giving back and the relationship is now looking one-sided?
That's when the other person who's giving a lot starts to feel emotionally drained.
Yeah.
That's probably the biggest sign that I've seen, not with myself or with my fiance, but like at some point someone's gonna be like, if it's one-sided, like it's gonna like eventually show. I might be like, you're not gonna see in the beginning because the person's willing to do it and it's not like having any like qualms about doing the duties or whatever, but then eventually they're gonna like have their fill and then it's gonna go south. I mean, eventually.
Yeah. Who's next?
Yeah, that is it. Everything is gonna go. It's gonna go south. Seriously, and it doesn't work. Because the zone of proximity, right? and I'm an educator, right? So come from there. At a zone of proximity, right? Everybody has a zone, a level that they're either gonna accept or they're not, right? And so when things are not like it's kind of off track, right? It's not gonna work, because sometimes person is like they overstep it, In a relationship, sometimes people go too far, they're not grateful, yeah. Like Kevin John said, they're not grateful. They sometimes people, they become how I say it. Their head go too big, their head grow too big. If that is a figure statement, a figure of speech. But it just really it really will go south. And then you don't want it to go south. So before it goes south, you start to redevelop where you guys are actually at in that zone of proximity. You weigh out the good and the bad. And if the good outweigh the bad, then maybe it work. But if it don't work. And don't stay on anything that's stale, that's how I feel. And my opinion though, are just opinions. If it's stale, it just don't work. It does too much placement, right? It does too much limbo.
Yeah, Dr. Love, when do you realize that the relationship is becoming one-sided because one person is compromising a little too much to the point where it just seems unfair or whatever, What do you I think Dr. Love looks like she probably got a phone call. Okay. Well, so I'm gonna actually say this, right? And shout outs to Kay Vigilant in the comments because she was kind of saying what I was thinking. When the reciprocation is not happening, that can happen in an early stage of a relationship. That can happen years later. That can show up at any moment, or it can have seasons, right? We have times where in a relationship you have peaks and flows. So you may have a time where, y'all are good from, January to June, but somehow July just seems a little low. At that point, you may want to have a conversation. That doesn't mean she don't like you no more, don't love you no more. But it could just be what's going on at the time. And then when August comes back, you're good to go. I mean, I don't know. It's just relationships have, you got to understand that we're people at the end of the day. We're not machines. We're going to have moments where we're not 100% all the time. What does anyone got to say to that?
Yeah, I think it's funny because I think it's like a mood swing, relationship is mood swings, but at the same time, when you're in a relationship, people are still, I don't think people realize you're still learning yourself. In a relationship, you're still learning yourself. And sometimes you might lose yourself in the relationship. I don't know if it's good or bad, So I honestly say you always need to just know yourself. Can't vision and laughing. You need to know yourself, because if someone is going somewhere else or people are like they can't evolve after that person, you have to really go back to the basics. To me, this is my opinion. I ain't telling nobody to do this, but to me, I would go back to the basics and say, what is it about me that I love about me? Where am I involving? Am I changing? Am I changing for the better? Is the relationship working? Is it some solution in it? Because if it's not, it's going to waste. And it's wasting time for both parts.
Absolutely. Hey, we have someone new to the platform. Gifted, are you there?
Yeah, what's up?
All right. Hello, Gifted. How you doing? On this panel, I do have some rules, okay? And that is no cursing, no foul language, and then just respect each other. Just, very simple rules.
Cool.
So the prompt is, because I'm going to have you answer the prompt first before you get into the conversation with everyone else, okay? And that is, can you love someone without losing yourself? You have the floor.
Cool, thanks. Yeah, you definitely can. I think that it takes a strong sense of self and like you need to understand yourself before you get in a relationship. But I think that people are trying to find themselves within relationships and that shouldn't be what we're doing. That's just my personal take on it. Um, before I get into a relationship, I'm already gonna know myself. I'm gonna already have my morals, my principles, who I am, and just because I'm in a relationship doesn't mean that I'm gonna change it. And if someone tries to change it, or however that goes, like then I probably need to get out of the relationship. Like you shouldn't be losing yourself. You should be able to be yourself the entire time. But if you find yourself losing yourself, then you got something's going on. You don't have a strong sense of self then, because how are you losing yourself that easy? It's not an easy process. It takes years to build to get to know yourself. So if you're losing it that fast, and a lot of relationships are temporary, so like I don't know, it's weird.
Okay, that's what's up. Dr. Love, you ready to talk again? Because I had a question.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Am I echoing again?
Nope.
Oh, good.
So I moved to the point where I was talking about what are signs and indicators that you're compromising so much in a relationship that now the relationship feels one-sided. When does someone pick up on that? Go ahead, Dr. Love.
I think it's over a period of time, because I think when you're getting to know each other, there's a whole transition, isn't there? And I think because you don't feel good anymore. You don't feel good about yourself. You don't feel good. You feel like you're really compromising. You start seeing it for what it is. You see that it's more one-sided, and it doesn't make you feel very good. And then that's the stage, I think, where people try to communicate with their partners and say, look, you're not doing this. And some men will say it's nagging. It might be that they're not taking accountability, or vice versa. The woman could be sounding like she's being dismissive. So I think when one side's not, their needs are not being met, or they're not being fulfilled, and they're feeling like they're overgiving, they start feeling not so good in the relationship. It shows on their face. It shows in their conversations. When they're out, even if it's with friends, you'll see the little digs come in. So generally the signs are there. You can see a relationship that's failing. And when one person feels like they're giving way more than the other person, that's when they start withdrawing. And some people will go towards silence. Some will find someone else. The communication could stop. So a lot of things can come in between. Answer your
Right.
question?
Right. No, that's good. That's good. There are a lot of things. One of the things we have to understand, and we're all adults, we do understand it. Right. We've had adult serious relationships before. Some of us married, some not, right? And that is, you're gonna give something in a relationship. You're just going to. There's gonna be a level of vulnerability in a relationship, a real relationship. That's gonna happen. There's gonna be giving and taking, but there's situations where you will be with someone. I don't hope it happens, but you'll be with someone who is just more prone to just taking and not giving. So you just have to know when that happens so that you can free yourself from that situation. Now we all know that that could happen years down the line. Meaning, you could be in a 10-year marriage, and in year 8 of that marriage, it's been where you are just with someone who's just a taker. So then now you're trying to amend that marriage, fix that marriage, but we all know it takes two people. you know so the
You
feeling
know
of
what? The,
exhaustion. Yeah, go ahead, Dr. Love.
do you know what's sad, Fifth? And I see it in couples a lot. The sad bit is, you know what you just said? There has to be vulnerability in a relationship, and there has to be at some level compromise, give and take. And you know, unfortunately, in some relationships, the person who is being accused of only taking won't even see it that way. In their world, it is they are giving and taking. But when you confront such conversations, they can't even see it, or they can see it, but they refuse to take accountability. And those relationships I feel the worst at, because there are scenarios where the opposing partner will say, I do give. And what I often find, sometimes that's about love languages as well. Your love language is simply different. And what you think is giving to the other person is just normal. May I give an example?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so love languages. So there's 5 different love languages. So let's say, for example, Fifth, your love language is acts of service, right? That's your love language. That's how you feel loved. And how you demonstrate that, Fifth, and this will be a default mode in you, you will be someone who just likes doing things. You know, you'll fill the pump up, you'll get the garden done, you'll go out and get some roses. You just like doing stuff. And that's how you show your love. Now, your partner might be someone who's words of affirmation. So for her, love looks like, I need you to tell me that I'm amazing, or I need you to tell me that you love me, or I need you to tell me that I did a good job. I need you to tell me that you appreciate me. So she needs words of affirmation as her love language. Now, if you and somebody whose love language was that were together, I can guarantee that in that relationship, you're both going to feel unloved. You're both going to feel like you're not getting what you need, because she needs words of affirmation from you, and you need acts of service. So you need her to do that for you also. So, for example, she may cook the dinner for you. She may iron your shirt. She may go out and get you a newspaper, whatever. Any act of service, which is doing something. Now, if she's not doing that, you're not going to feel loved. And if you're not doing what she likes, she's not going to feel loved. So you both will feel incomplete. So sometimes it's your love languages don't match. So it's really important to know what your love languages are, so that you can deliver them for one another, even if that isn't your natural default center. That's it.
That's pretty good. Hold that thought on the love languages, because I actually want to come back to that. Okay. So, Miss CJ, you're in the comments, so you understood my question and and the point that I was making. You can go ahead and comment on it on the panel.
Yeah, I mean, it's so much going on. What a relationship.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. The society, So in a relationship, again, it's still go back to the person. Cause, a relationship is about, right? Faction, love, caring, right? But I think it's still gonna go back to that person, the one person. You love yourself? There's so many all these situations going on. You have to take back yourself and say, can you love you someone without losing yourself? Again, it's still going back to your prompt though. Do you love yourself? Because see, I did issue with a relationship, and I understand your question, but say I don't think that people is taking the time to love themselves, because even if the person don't give them that love language, they would understand that, you know what, I love myself so much, I don't need anyone to reciprocate anything because of the God that I serve. That's just where I'm at, spiritually. I just, that is where I'm at. But in a relationship, it's equally yoked. You love one another together, how the other person's doing, you see how they're doing, you see how they're feeling. There's no it. So, I don't know. I think I'm still going back to the part where it says, you have to just really, take time and love yourself first. Listen to what your core values are, what you are expecting for you, and what are you expecting love is characterized as. Then, then they go into the next relationship, or you go into a relationship and you're seeing somebody trying going on and they're losing themselves, are you losing yourself? Why are you losing yourself? Because, you don't start love yourself. You must love yourself first. Take time. Literally, That's how I feel. I'm still stuck on that, Faith. I'm sorry. Because it's still going back around. It just sounds like the person is not loving themselves exactly how they need to love themselves. They really do need to take the time and just love themselves how God tells them to love themselves. Love yourself for who you are. Exactly what he put you on the earth for,
Yeah. Hey, real quick, Beyonda.
Oh yeah, what's up?
Hey, can you do me a quick favor
Yep.
as a mod?
hmm
Check out Shadow's profile. I'm trying to make sure this person's not a troll. Okay. Zacchaeus, what up, brother?
Hey, what's good, man?
Yo,
Yeah.
you see the prompt?
Get a prompt? Losing yourself. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
can you love someone without losing yourself? Go ahead, brother.
Yes, you can. You know, I've I've over the years learned to do that. When you know how you lose yourself by forgetting all the things that you are passionate about, like you forgetting who you are, and you just putting all your emphasis and all your attention on that one person. In other words, you can't breathe without that person. You can't move without that person. That person must be in your presence at all times. That's how you lose yourself. In other words, you're forgetting the things you used to do, the things that you used to enjoy, and your friends that you used to connect with, and your family, just for this one person. Yes, you can lose. Yes, you can lose yourself, but yes, you can lose yourself. You can, but you don't have to lose yourself to love someone. You can love them, adore them, and love them, and still do the things that you love to do. Still enjoy your family, your other family, your immediate family. Still enjoy maybe connected with some old friends. You still enjoy putting God first, first and foremost, and just being who you are, being your authentic self, embracing yourself and loving yourself. Yes. And you could love, because the truth of the matter is, fifth, if you don't love yourself, you cannot love the next person. If you don't learn how to be by yourself and love yourself and appreciate yourself, you cannot, ain't no in the world you can love the next person. If you're broken, you cannot have a healthy relationship with the next person. Yeah. And that's the truth. So the question, the answer to that question is yes, you can love someone without losing yourself. And I land right there. Yeah, man.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
This is before you got up here. Compromising, right? Because
Yeah.
this is what this is about. Okay.
Yeah. hmm
So you're gonna compromise. You're a married man. I know you personally, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So you're gonna compromise something.
Yeah.
When do you know that in a relationship, marriage, that you are compromising so much to the point where the relationship feels one-sided? What are the signs and indicators
When
that
you're doing,
yeah, go ahead.
yeah, when you're doing everything to please your significant other, everything, and leaving yourself always secondary. In other words, you're doing everything. In other words, you're giving up this, you're giving up that, you're giving up certain things that you enjoy doing. Let's say if you enjoy being a content creator, but you're giving that up so you can appease the person that you're with, because the person that you're with don't like that, so they don't support you with that so much. So you're giving you're giving most of the things that you used to enjoy doing and love doing, you're giving it up so you can appease that significant other. In other words, let's say if you, for example, you like writing music, or you like or certain people that you connect with. In other words, you don't connect with them no more. You cut them off, or in other words, you cut off being a content creator so you can solely put all your emphasis on her, just to make her happy, make her happy. In other words, you're not happy long as she's happy. Long as she's happy, that's all. That's all that really matters. Remember the term that we laughed at one time? Happy wife, happy life.
That garbage.
Yeah. In other words, you're forgetting who you are, and in other words, as long as she's happy, that's all that matters. Forget about you. You don't need to be happy. As long as she's happy.
And here's another thing that we hear in our culture, black culture, right? I think other cultures heard this too, but it's
Yeah.
definitely a black culture. Even when she's wrong, she's always right.
Yep.
Jesus Christ.
Oh yes, that you hear that over the grown up. You hear that, you know.
Oh my God, that's from the old school, man. I get that.
Yeah. Even when she's dead wrong. You still gotta say sorry. You still gotta be apologetic because she's a lady. She's automatically you're wrong, no matter what, no matter what the situation is. Yeah. Uh,
Well, So so yeah, man, compromising, man. It's gotta be healthy, man. But that's the kind of toxic stuff that put us in the situation that we at now, some of the old school stuff.
yeah.
Because really we should be teaching, and we should be teaching this forever. Happy house, happy
Happy
spouse.
spouse. That's right.
There it is.
That's right, man. Because it's
If
a lot.
yo,
Some
if
people,
I
some I still meet people that still believe that same stuff. That still believe that till this day. Remember, they turn around, they look at you. They're married too. They turn around, they look at you and say, "Remember, fifth, happy life, happy wife. Remember, always want to make her happy." You know, they turn around, they tell you that right away.
yeah. Well, that's sad.
Yeah,
So you know, I have another question to pose to the panel, right?
yeah.
So, are people compromising or settling?
That's a good question, man. I mean, I believe this. A lot of people, quite a few people settle. In other words, they don't feel fulfilled, but they're just settled. They just settle because of circumstances and situations, because of complacency, convenience. They settle. No matter what no matter how a person abuse them, emotionally abuse them, or just mistreat them, or just totally dishonest to them, they still be in a situation because of assets that they invest in and complacency. They just, okay, this is what my life is. Remember the Jimmy Cozier song? I love Nicole. She's all I got. Sometimes, yeah. Yeah, see, she's all I got. She misuses me, she mistreats me, but she's all I got. So that's I'm just settled. And that's also a lot of people live like that. Yes, till this day, they've been married for years, and they just because of we have so much time invested. So that's why I stay. We have kids, and we have so much things that's invested with each other. That's why I say I'm miserable, but I stay because of convenience and the spirit of complacency. That's why they stay. Yeah,
I would
yeah,
say
man.
Go ahead, Beyonda.
I would say settling for sure. Um, and I brought this to I brought attention to this on Monday's show, I think. Talking about how like men settle differently than how women settle. So like if a man doesn't know his worth and doesn't really have a lot of experience with girls or women as he grows up, when he gets older and has no discernment as to how to pick a good woman or not, he'll settle for a woman that walks over him because that's all he can get. Now for him, it's good because like she looks good and whatnot, and she's what you would call a trophy wife, I guess. But she's a terrible person. But he can't get anybody else. And then she settles for a guy that allows her to walk over him, but she wants a man that has respect and like is a man, has respect, has boundaries, and is confident. But that man's not confident. But that's only a man that will accept her for who she is. So women and men settle for different reasons and also at different times as well. Definitely people definitely settle 1,000%.
So they settle more than they compromise, basically.
Absolutely. Compromise is clearly the healthier option because then
Yeah.
you'll come to a agreement as to how you're going to move forward as a couple. But that takes work, patience, and communication. A lot of which people don't have nowadays. Hence why things will be happening in a relationship, and it'll be small things, but then like whenever people have their fill at some point. You know what I'm saying? Like they'll put up with it for maybe a year, maybe 2 years, maybe 3 years, but eventually it's gonna get to a point where like they're gonna, explode, and you don't want that to happen, because people explode in a lot of different ways. Pause. They explode in different ways, and like you just don't want to get to that point. It's better to just talk about it, nip it in the bud right then and there, rather than like have it like build up and build up and build up, and then you get to a point where like the entire bridge is burned and you can't repair it. So
Yeah. Anybody else want to go? What do y'all think? Do most people compromise, or do they settle? Miss CJ, Dr. Love.
In my opinion, almost 50 years old, I don't care about it. A lot of people settle. Serious. And they're so stuck up on all them fixations, People settle. I don't know why they settle. For me, I ain't settling nothing. Go and look at my page. No, over 19 surgeries, right? Settle for what? Settle for what? But that's my opinion, But I believe so people settle in because they're, in certain circumstances that they may not be able to get out of, or they're not able to fix the situation. They may not have a solution, or they may not have turned into the right corner, or not got connected to the right people, or maybe they may not have trusted in their faith. I'm just going spiritual with it. But at the end of the day, yeah, some people are settling, Are they compromising? I don't know. Maybe they're doing both. But most of the time I see it in this world right now, I see a lot of people just settling and just sticking with that's it. They don't care about anything else.
What you think, Dr. Love?
Hi, yeah, sorry. I'm just having my dinner as well. I think it depends on the individual. I think if they have boundaries and they have standards, then they won't settle. I think some people can fall into the trap of settling until they kind of see, hold on, this isn't what I'm looking for, and I don't want to stay in this. And then those people move on. So I think it's a very individual thing, depending on someone's relationship history, what they've put up with, what they haven't put up with. And yeah, some people definitely settle and some people absolutely do not.
Yeah. People will argue that compromising is settling.
I've heard people say that to me, because with the
I don't know about all
compromise,
that.
with the
Agree with that.
compromise, someone's not getting what they want, right? So it's not really fair, is it? Because one person is kind of not getting what they want unless they can make the compromise as fair as they can. So some people do say, it's not fair because it's not a win-win. It's someone's winning, someone's losing.
It just could be people's approach to it, because maybe they don't really understand what compromising is. There are people who grow up in certain households where they don't know what compromise looks like, so they see settle.
Do you know what, Fifth? If I'll be honest with you, right? Something I see quite common. I always say you have to be very careful with the person that you choose to be in your life, right? If the person you're with just doesn't have the emotional intelligence to understand, they're going to find it very difficult to do a lot of things in a relationship, compromise being one of them, because they don't have the attitude and they don't have the understanding to be able to compromise. And I've seen many men like that. Once they say something, they stick to it. They're not going to move back. So I think it's very important, when you're looking at that, is that should be an important characteristic in a human being too.
Yeah, that's what's up.
Seriously.
I think a huge part of having, Emotional intelligence is being able to identify your own first before you can worry about some other emotions as well.
Mm,
Like if you're modest and like you know yourself well enough to like call out your own flaws, then you'll be able to handle not only your emotions but also other people's emotions too. So it
100.
requires you to know yourself first before you like know somebody else.
100. I couldn't. And there's one more thing. You know, someone who can take accountability. That is a major, major thing as well. Someone who is able to take accountability.
Accountability, exactly. There we go.
100%. Because someone who can't take accountability, it's a downfall. It's just going to go down, down, down.
You
Oh,
know,
there's people like that called narcissists. they run from one relationship to the next relationship, and they can never say that they're wrong, never apologize. It's always somebody else's fault. And there's people that live their life like that, yeah, man. And they can never have a successful relationship. You ever say, wait a minute, I thought you was with her. Oh, no, we broke up 2 months ago. Oh, no, we broke up 3 months ago. Yeah.
You know, I would say we need to use the word narcissism very lightly because, you know, this word floats around social media quite often. Not the people who demonstrate such behaviors, it doesn't necessarily mean they're narcissists. To be a narcissist, you have to have 9 traits and 5 have to be absolutely apparent in order to be diagnosed as a narcissist. You know, and every human being carries 1 to 2, maybe 3 characteristics of a narcissist, and there's 9. Where you'll find a narcissist will carry majority, pretty much all 9.
So you don't say a person that never, because I met people that never apologize for anything at all. They
They're a
don't.
narcissist.
They don't say sorry for nothing. They're always right, and even when they're dead wrong, they're always right, and that person's always wrong. So you don't consider. I looked up the word narcissism, what it means before I use it, and that's part of the trait.
Yes, that's part of the
I
trait.
looked it up. I Googled it
No, I
myself.
agree with you. No,
Yeah, I
agree
Googled
with
it
you.
myself. Yeah.
That is part of the trait. But like I said, we all have narcissistic traits. Everyone does. Some people less than others. But to be a narcissist, you have to have all 9 traits. At least 5 out of the 9.
At least 5. I didn't read that. I was reading it. Yeah, I didn't read that.
Zacchaeus, she means clinically diagnosed. So narcissism.
Clinically diagnosed. Okay.
Yeah. Narcissism is in
Not
the
TikTok diagnosed.
Yeah, narcissism is in the DSM-5. But here's the thing: a lot of people are sociopathic, right?
Oh yes.
And so narcissism and sociopathic are like cousins. Okay. So here's the thing: the traits, right? So main character syndrome is a big trait in both narcissism
You said
and
main character syndrome?
yes, main character syndrome.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's basically. Hey, do you watch The Boys, Beyonda?
I do, yeah.
I watched
That's
it.
Homelander.
Yeah, I seen it. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's Homelander. Homelander has main character syndrome, big time.
Oh, he's cool though. I like Homelander.
Yeah. So, but that's a good example of main character syndrome is Homelander, right? So
it's also for people who aren't narcissists, enlarged ego. Those people will also do that behavior.
Enlarged ego.
Someone who's got a very, very big ego, who's very egotistical.
Oh yes, I met people.
Yeah, they will also demonstrate that part where they can never be wrong.
Yes,
never be wrong.
They're better than everybody. They act. You know, they're just better than everyone. Yeah.
100.
Yeah.
yeah. So accountability is kryptonite for a lot of people, right? Because what it does is it forces you to look in the mirror and deal with yourself. And dealing with yourself is a hard thing to do, especially when you've never been corrected. And when corrected, you are what do you call it? Defensive.
Yep.
So a lot of people, but also you got to look at it this way, right? And not to deviate fully from the topic, but you got to look at it this way. You have to see how people are with other people before they are with you. And this is what I mean. A lot of times people do things with other areas of their life, they'll bleed into that. So if you're someone who cheats on your woman, you will cheat. You've already cheated before in other things in life before you even got in a relationship. If you're someone who lies to your significant other, then you're someone who's lied before that. Okay, there are things that you do before you even get in a relationship that you've been doing, right? If
Well, you know
you're
what the worst one is, Fifth? You know when you're with someone, right? Let's say they tell someone a lie, a big lie, not a white lie, like a big lie, and you're present and you see that, then you know there's chances they're going to lie to you too.
absolutely. Let me tell you what I've seen.
Mm.
I've seen a person say that they did something that was unethical,
Mm-hmm.
and then they did it in a relationship. Well, you did things that were unethical,
Mm.
so because that is part of your makeup, it spills into other areas of your life. So I believe if you are a bad friend
Mm.
in platonic friendships, you can be a bad girlfriend, bad boyfriend, bad husband, bad wife. Am I on or am I off with that one?
You're on with that one. There's people like that. Yeah, they don't. People when people speak about them, they don't speak about them very well at all. There's people like that. There's one person. I'm not gonna name no names, but there's people like that. They don't people. Their kids don't speak well of them. Their relatives don't speak well of them. Their used to be friends don't speak well of them. Yeah, there's people like that. Yeah, you're on point with that. Yeah,
Yeah.
they just burn bridges. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yo, Beyond it, man, this is kind of weird today, if you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Hey, you don't even have a name. You got a symbol. What are you, Prince?
Cloverleaf.
Prince is crazy. Kayla or whatever. I don't really care. Clover, Hello Kitty. I don't really care.
That's what's up, Clover. So you're brand spanking new to my panel. So I want to just explain the rules, okay? No cursing, no foul language, and answer the prompt first before you get into the conversation with everybody else, okay? And that is, can you love someone without losing yourself? Go ahead, Clover.
I think you can, but it's also very difficult to find very true love. I feel like a lot of the love we see nowadays is very fake and superficial instead of actual true love. But yes, my answer would be yes.
Okay. We'll get back to you. Shane. Shane is new on the panel.
Who yeah? What's going on, everybody?
How you doing, Shane? Up here, no cursing, no foul language, and respect each other, okay? I'm gonna just
I
ask you a question.
understand.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. The topic, the prompt. Can you love someone without losing yourself? You go ahead, brother.
True love, brother, is only defined as the blood of Christ. Anything else is lustful payments that are affordable. Some have good credit, some have cash. But what I've noticed is, no, you can't love someone. I'm gonna give you a situation. Women come from my ribs. I'm a man. I don't expect her to have a brain. So therefore I love my woman. Now, I'm going to tell you the situation to make it fast. My lady, when we argue, she always says things, and then when I tell her what she says 3 minutes later, I didn't say that. Anybody have that happen to them men? Of course you have. This happens all the time. Again, you'll tell a woman, no, you said exactly that the wheels on the tires were black. No, I didn't. That's what you thought you heard. I'm gonna leave it at that. I can't deal with this. You will lose your mind. You will your immune system will go bad. You'll start getting colds that turn into COVID. You'll lose your hair. Your penis won't go erect. I'm telling you, this is stress from a woman. You cannot love a person or kids. Love yourself, and thank you, everyone.
Well, I don't know how to follow that. Does anybody have anything to say?
Yeah, that was funny. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, he's right on point. Right on point.
That caught me off guard. I'm not gonna lie. Caught me off guard.
Right on point. Yeah.
My man first came on the panel and said, "Ooh yeah."
I'm a little confused on the you can't love your kids part. Is that like an actual thing or?
This is what I mean by that. My father had a double bypass surgery on heart surgery like 5-6 years ago, and he's completely healed. He's awesome. But during that time, I was his caretaker, and the doctor said, "Hey, I don't care if his wife, if his kids, if the dog, if anything causes this man stress, it could unalive him. Keep it away. If his New York Knicks are losing this season, tell him the season's over. Don't let him look at things that stress him out. Look, man, your kids, we all know your kids can stress the shit out of you. Little Johnny will stress you to unalivization.
Language shame.
So that's all I want to say. Yes, that's what I mean by that. Yes. If you got to give your kids to your mama for the week, give it to them. Dude, don't let nothing unalive you, dude. Stress will bring you down. You don't understand this? So sometimes it's better to love yourself. I'm gonna be TikTok friendly and I'm not trolling or joking. Hey, we can make love to ourselves. We can take ourselves to eat. We can dress ourselves. We can buy ourselves toilet paper, our favorite dude wipes. We can do it all. Dude, love yourself, man. The only reason why you really I need a woman there at nighttime is when I get old and I'm having a heart attack and that little thing doesn't work. That I fell. I need help. That little monitor you hit, the button that old folks should have.
Life alert.
Life alert. And if I got life alert, what the hell I need her for?
You know, I would like to say something.
Hello.
Today,
Hello.
Shane, you have today answered a question that for many years I have wondered what the real answer is. And today I have just had an aha moment. So I, first of all, thank you. And now I know why God never chose for a man to have a child. You've just put it in black and white for me. It is crystal clear why God never chose
Oh
a
my
man
God, I love your accent. Where are you
to have
from?
a child. Because, you know, when you have a child, yes, they stress the living daylights out of you, whatever age they are. But you love them unconditionally because that's your child. And they can, you know, do whatever. And I am living proof. I have children. No matter what they do, they stress me. I want to leave. I want to hold. I want to fly off somewhere. But I wouldn't be without them either because my love for them is unconditional. I just wanted to say that. And
was really
my sweetheart,
sweet.
I'm from UK.
That was really sweet, and I
Yeah,
love your accent.
yes, Clover. Dr. Love used to be a songwriter for Adele.
Oh, she did.
Yeah,
Oh.
She used to be a songwriter for Adele.
Did she write that song called Dr. Love? No.
Hey, also she wrote James Bond, Quantum of Solace. She also wrote
You're the goat for
Skyfall.
that.
I
She the
didn't know
goat
I
for that.
walked in on a celebrity. My fault, sister.
Oh man,
Well,
definitely a pleasure meeting you.
I'm also,
I'm not gonna lie.
if you didn't know, I'm actually a Bollywood actress as well. So
Oh,
I
okay.
retired.
Oh wow.
Yes, I was very big in Bollywood, but I
Nice.
retired. And now I just do some videos on TikTok.
Oh,
Yo,
okay.
have y'all
That's
seen
your
Definitely a
shit,
pleasure.
queen.
Dr.
hold
Love,
on.
it's definitely a pleasure meeting you.
Oh, it's a pleasure meeting you too.
Doc,
Have y'all
Doc,
seen
Doc, Dr. Love wrote and I'm only joking here. Dr. Love wrote Slumdog Millionaire.
That's funny.
She also wrote
I wrote murder mysteries.
right.
Wow.
She wrote Marvel's she's also one of the writers for Marvel's The Eternals.
Yo, which
You
one?
know?
No, I write
Oh, I'm
crime
sorry about that.
documentaries, like how they did it and got away with it.
Yeah, she
Wow.
wrote she got the Grammy for Adele's album. She wrote Hello, and she wrote Rumor Has It. You know what I mean?
I'm not gonna lie, yo,
I
Fifth,
wish I got the money for it. I still haven't received the paycheck.
yo,
Damn, Viv, can you sort it out for me? Because I'm mad about that.
yo, Fifth,
I think I need to go to therapy. I am actually traumatized. I haven't even been paid. Such a
yo,
great
Fifth,
guy.
Yo, go ahead, Beyond. Dr. Love,
yo.
I'm just having fun. I'm just having
Me
fun.
too.
That's so funny. So like whenever you reveal like what she does or whatever, it reminded me of a Toy Story when Buzz comes into the room and like, oh wow, it's a new toy, wow, and no one cared about Woody no more. That's what I just felt like.
Yeah. Oh. So are
But
you
you,
Woody right now?
but you really, yeah, you really wrote music for Quantum of Solace. Like, I just want to know, like, did you really?
Skyfall.
Sun
Like
and
that
fall.
right there is you're the goat for that if you did.
Hello from the other side.
But you know what, Beyonce, we keep it quiet, okay? This is social media, so we just don't, because we have enough haters as it is. We don't want to add to the list. I've got enough, so we just keep them at base.
Oh no, I totally get that. I was gonna ask you about that because when Fifth said Bollywood, I figured that you were like some like of Indian descent to some degree.
Yes.
Okay, so like, what part of like I'm curious now because I don't know many Indians that have a British accent. What part of India like is your family from?
I'm actually Pakistani.
Oh,
Oh,
Yeah.
we're on the big side.
So Soul Survivor is her family's from India.
I think she's Gujarati.
She's what?
I think someone told me she was Gujarati. I might be wrong.
Oh. Well, when she comes up here, she can tell me. Yeah, but yeah. So
Yeah.
so Dr. Love, you was born in Pakistan?
No. I've been
Oh,
born
okay.
in the UK.
Oh,
No,
okay.
that's just my ethnicity.
Okay. I was just curious. Okay. All right. So anyway, I'm just having fun with Dr. Love. Her accent. I was tying her to all the British works.
If I came from the India, I would talk most likely like this, because my accent would be very reformed. Because the English in Pakistan is very, very good, and they are very dictionary. So my English accent would be like this. It would not sound like how you are hearing it.
Right.
So I don't know if you
She
like
would
this
sound like
accent.
Mr. She would sound like Mr. Unknown beyond.
no, yeah, exactly.
What part of London? What part of London you're from?
Well,
I'm not
UK.
even
She's
from
in UK.
London, bro.
UK. She's in England, but yeah, go ahead.
I have family living in South Brixton.
No, brethren, no.
I have family that live out there. Yeah, 2 cousins.
No, I'm from near Birmingham, not in Birmingham, but near Birmingham.
Oh, okay. I gotta head out there.
Damn, and I'm from freaking Connecticut. Wow, that's crazy.
Beyond, you're from Connecticut. Oh,
Yeah, that's very boring. I'd
Do you
rather
know
be.
what? Is that where all the big lands? Sorry, Fifth. I know we're completely off topic right now.
All right, go ahead.
But is that like where all the big lands are? Like, when you watch the cowboy movies and like there's just land and roads and roads. Is that where you guys are from?
Yeah, Connecticut has a lot of land. So does New York as well. Like New York, upstate New York, not like the city, but like the state has a lot
I
of
would
land.
love that. I would give up my. Would I give my arm up? No, I need it. But I would give up something, right, to just go and be with. There's no people.
You'll give up a piece of a fingernail, right?
No, I don't know if I can, Fifth.
Oh, okay.
It would look really odd if I take one fingernail.
Well,
I'll figure
you'll
something
give up
out.
a fake nail. How about you'll give up a fake nail?
My nails are real. The only thing I've got fake on at the moment is some hair extensions. That's it.
Oh, okay. Shout outs to you. Dr. Love, you're
Nails
very
are real. No Botox.
keeping it professional, but also I'm a man here. You're a very pretty woman. I just want to say that respectfully.
Thank you. I think Pakistani genes are.
There you go. Beautiful complexion. Beautiful people too.
Thank you. Well, I don't know about that.
Well,
No,
okay.
they are beautiful people, just very backward. Just very backward.
Okay.
Yeah, very, very backward.
There you go.
That's fire. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, there you go. So, but yeah, let me just kind of like further along. Um, Healthy compromise, unhealthy compromise. Hey, can anyone give an example of a unhealthy compromise in a relationship?
Unhealthy?
Yep.
Oh, well, this is very toxic, actually. Not from myself, but just what I've seen in the media and whatnot. There'll be like a girl dating a guy who isn't like he isn't like what you would call like be like considered a man's man, I guess. And he isn't giving it to her, giving it to her right, I suppose. And so she suggests that they have an open relationship. um, and I guess that's like the most unhealthy compromise I've seen in my entire life. Where like, yeah, exactly. Women will be like, oh, or men too. I'm not saying it's one or the other. I'm saying that it can happen where like one party or the other suggests that it's open now, so that one person gets what they want and the other person has to deal with it because they can't leave. So I've seen that happen plenty of times. That's about as unhealthy you can get, Fifth. I don't know how else to.
Yonder,
Another
can you
unhealthy.
repeat that? I totally missed that. My son came and spoke to me. What did you say was really unhealthy?
I was saying a very unhealthy compromise is when one party or the other, whether it be man or woman, they suggest that they have an open relationship so that way one can get what they
Oh, right.
want and the person has to sit there and take it. So
Got it. Okay.
Hey, my bad. I'm here. I was answering Kay in the comments. Hey, for some reason, this happens sometimes with TikTok, right? I guess they don't like the fact that I have my in my host column, I have my poster. So they're trying to restrict my live. So shout outs to everybody who's able to like the stream and repost it. But sometimes when it happens and I have to keep doing appeals, I've been dealing with this for the last couple of weeks. I have to do
Become
appeals
very
with TikTok.
sensitive as well. Yeah, and they've become super sensitive now, haven't they? Even more than before.
Yeah, it sucks. It's gonna come to a point. Listen, it's gonna come to a point where people are gonna get tired of this platform.
Yeah.
So what they need to do is to bend the rules a little bit. Some of the rules that they got is okay, but some of the stuff they need to just fall back on because whatever. So, all right. What was I saying? Oh, examples of a compromise is unhealthy. Beyonda, you're speaking to the nature of having your cake and eating it too. Yes, that is an unhealthy compromise because that's one-sided, especially when you make a rule for her but not a rule for you. Like, you can't do it, but I can.
Yeah.
So anything falls in that. Zacchaeus, you got an example of an unhealthy compromise?
Is an unhealthy compromise like let's say for example like somebody they always they gotta be with you no matter what. They always they don't trust you. They gotta hover over you everywhere you go. She's always checking your phone to see if you're cheating or can't trust you to go anywhere. Step 2 feet away from her. There's always like a don't trust. Or always gotta be with always gotta be up underneath you no matter what. Can't go nowhere because can't go nowhere meaning that if I go somewhere, you gotta be there. If I step left, you gotta step left. If I step right, you gotta step right.
These are like conditions, healthy conditions.
Like possess over I think over possessive, Yeah.
And controlling as well.
Controlling and over possessive, yeah. Yeah.
I think also, when you get things like, for example, let's say, I don't know, let's say we're using a woman and she gets in a relationship and she says to her man, you're not allowed to have any female friends, you know, and that man may have female friends that he doesn't want to let go of. It's different if it's an understanding between you both and you both agree and it doesn't feel like a compromise. But
Yeah.
if you go back to what I said earlier, I feel anything is unhealthy when it doesn't make you feel good and it's not something that aligns with who you truly are.
Mm-hmm.
So if it was a major issue for you, then I think that would also be an unhealthy condition.
Mm-hmm.
If it was something you're willing to compromise on, as it would be healthy for the relationship, then you should do it. But a lot of controlling stuff, I guess, comes into the unhealthy bit as well.
Mm-hmm.
Man, Fifth, I ain't gonna want to get in a relationship. This is depressing me. I'm just remembering. I'm getting triggered.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you're not married?
I was.
Oh, you was. Oh, okay.
Yeah, you know, but Dr. Love, I'm not married. I've never been married. I've never been engaged.
Wow.
I do understand it. Yo, I feel like sometimes I'm like in like the wrong like dating era, you know what I mean? Because it's unfortunate. It really is.
I think times have changed so much.
Yeah, but why I gotta be like, I don't know. It's like, why right now? You know?
It is true, but I think times have changed so much. I think, you know, if you can find someone you can just have a conversation with, someone who respects you and someone who's got emotional and, you know, to some sense, it depends on you, you know, what stimulates your brain. If they've got those qualities, I think you can work through anything. I honestly,
Yeah.
I think if you've got emotional intelligence, you've got a level of intelligence and you're a communicator and you're respectful and you take accountability when wrong, if you have those, I think you can get through anything except maybe betrayal, because then you feel like they've just messed it all up. But other than that, I think you can get through a lot of things, and those things seem so difficult to find in one human being. It's very upsetting, actually.
Yeah, and it's not that. And I hear you. And when I make this point, going with your point, and I'm gonna make a new point, and that is, you know, it's not that I think everyone is just looking for perfection, because nobody's perfect, right?
Correct.
But I also think my generation is fried.
I think they're all scared.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you something.
Yeah, go.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you something. I'm an 80s baby, right? But I sit more in the late 80s.
Yeah.
And I notice a lot of 80s babies, yo, they're cooked.
Really?
Oh, yeah. It's because we're part of the generation that was raised by the old school. And then some of us were not. So we're like kind of like in between analog and digital, if you know what I mean.
I think the ones that were brought up old school are the ones that are cooked. I don't know if you're saying the same thing, because I consider myself old school. I find it hard because what I think is normal is not normal. And I think that's where I struggle, because what I think is just normal manners, normal way of behaving, you know, if my partner said, look, I don't like you having male friends, I wouldn't even think anything of it. I'd think, yeah, he's right. Okay, I see your point. You know, for me, it'd be nothing. You try telling that someone of today's day and age, you can't be friends with your male friends. They're ready to fight you. They're ready to say, well, you go do your business, because I'm just thinking about me. Because tomorrow you're not here. I've left my mates. Why am I doing that? You see the difference?
Yeah. No, I'm sorry. I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at
No, I
him.
know. I was speaking to a young lady the other day and she said to me, no, I've got male friends, and if he wants to be with me, he has to accept that, because I am not letting go. I said, well, what if you really like him and he ticks all your boxes, and, you know, in this very difficult world of God knows what, you found the one? She goes, nope. If he's the one, he will accept the fact that I have male friends, and that is how it is, because if tomorrow he's not here, I'm not losing my friends over that. Because the idea of they have this idea, which is true, but they kind of get more to the acceptance of that nothing is forever, and these people come, they go, and I'm not giving up what I've got just to please someone.
Yeah. Yeah. So, one of the things me and Zacchaeus talk about, right? Because me and Zacchaeus know each other personally, right? We've been friends for like 20 years.
Right.
And so one of the things we always talk about when we do our podcast and certain topics that we pick that are relationship topics is that he just says that everybody wants the desires for wanting a relationship and wanting someone, regardless of what we see on the internet, will never stop. So they will always be relevant to today.
Mm.
It's just that what people teach may change. But as
Yes.
far as dating and relationships and marriage, that will always be something that people will desire.
No,
Now,
the marriage bit, I'm not sure. The rest, yes. But I see marriage disappearing.
so this is what you're seeing disappearing, right?
Mm.
You're seeing the glorification of it disappear, right?
Mm.
That's what you're seeing. But the desire to be with someone,
Yeah.
listen, there's a lot of people that will get up here and want to sound tough
Yeah.
and say, I don't want this, I don't want that. But then they're in their home alone,
Yeah.
sad,
Yeah.
because they're by themselves. I'm not saying everyone,
No, I
but
hear you.
what I'm saying is a lot of people put on a front,
Yes.
but they still desire to be with someone, even if it's for a couple of months.
100.
Zacchaeus, go ahead. You came off mute. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, it's true. There's people that will go home alone, say that they don't want to be with no one, they're happy by themselves. There's nothing wrong with being. You gotta be happy by yourself. No, we're not disagreeing with that. You gotta be
Of
happy
course.
for yourself by yourself.
Yeah.
But they'll go home alone. They say, you know what? And they'll put a pillow between their legs, man. When they lay in that bed, because
Okay, leave the pillow alone because the pillow escorts me as well. Mind you, I've replaced it with a teddy bear now.
okay, okay.
And an
But
electric blanket. And an electric blanket, which feels like a warm hug.
that's cool, man. That's
I don't
cool.
know. It is what it is. It
Hey,
is what it
hey,
is.
I gotta ask. I gotta ask Dr. Love something, but it's all within boundary when I ask this. Okay. Is one of your love languages physical touch as far as the affection part?
No, my love language is acts of service as number one because there's a very interesting fact that I don't think people understand about love languages. It's not really, it is taught, but I don't know how much people look into it. Like Vigilance said, she thought love language was something that you just do, but you do the love language of your partner and they do, because it doesn't mean that you're going to meet someone who's got, if you meet someone who's got the same love language as you, that's brilliant, because that's one problem out the way, because you're both going to show love the same way, so you're both going to feel loved. But you see, the love language that you have is the love language that you never got, right? So that is what your love language, because you crave that, because you never got it. You make sense? So I'm someone who's always done things for myself, right? And it's not because I'm an independent woman, because I wasn't. I was married for 21 years. I was a housewife. I worked, but I was mostly a housewife raising my children. So it wasn't that, it's independence. It's because when you are a certain way, and even till this day, I do everything on my own. Even when I had partners, their love language wasn't the same as mine. They didn't see the value of that. So I've always done things by myself. So I naturally, when someone comes into my life, I'm a doer. I will do things for them. I will make things comfortable, because that's ironically what I'm looking for. Someone to come into my life and make my life easier. So mine's acts of service as my first love language, because there's 5 and you do have bits of all of them, but one of them is the most that you need in a relationship.
So, Dr. Love, I would say this though.
Mm.
So I'm going to agree and disagree
Yeah.
with this particular part, right? And maybe it's because it's from a man's perspective.
Mhm.
So from a man's perspective, I don't think it's so much that our favorite love languages that we may want to receive and display is because we didn't receive it. It
Right.
could just be that we're more effective at nonverbal ways of showing love. So, for instance, right,
Mhm.
you could have someone who grew up in an affectionate household,
Yeah.
and their number one love language is affection
Mhm.
and quality time.
Mhm.
So you're going to do all the love languages. The thing is that you're going to do things that are most to least. Meaning,
Mhm.
you can do acts of service.
Mhm.
Okay, so for instance, 5. Let's say them:
Yeah.
physical touch, quality time, acts of service, words of affirmation,
Mhm.
and gifts. Right.
Mhm.
So I know someone who has gifts as number 1,
Mhm.
quality time as number 2,
Mhm.
but they do
Mhm.
physical touch
Mhm.
more than the gifts of more than the gift giving.
Mhm.
Well, because that could be just money, right? They made, or well, it could be like this: they bought a gift, or they created a gift, because you can make a gift, right?
Correct.
But the physical touch thing is maybe something that they do more, although they're not saying that's their number 1. And then you have someone who's, hey, what's up, Jess? Jess is in the comments. Or you have someone who physical touch and quality time is
Mhm.
their top 2,
Mhm.
but they will do words of affirmation,
Mhm.
with the lady that they're with.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
While physical touching and having quality time.
Mhm.
So it's like it's being done all at once. Like, you could be cuddled up with your woman, and then you could be getting your flirt on, because you should flirt with your woman, right?
Yeah, you
You
can
know,
do
you
all 5 are present.
right.
Don't get me wrong, but there is one that normally, like quality time and physical touch, normally go together.
They
So
have
you'll
to.
find,
Yes.
yeah, you'll
Hmm.
find that they'll be quite next to each other. But the other ones, you could have someone like I could, for example, my love language is acts of service, right? But I could
Hmm.
also be physical touch because my partner love
Hmm.
language is physical touch. You understand? So I
Right.
would be doing physical touch because for me to make him feel loved, that's his love language. I can't take that away from him.
Hmm.
So even though mine's acts of service, his is physical touch. So I would be doing that, and it would be a bit confusing. Well, hold on, she's acts of service. Why is she doing physical touch? Because that's his love language. And if I don't do what's his love language, he is not going to feel loved. Because you've got the scenario where you've got a couple. Husband says, she cooks for me. I don't feel loved. Wife says, I don't feel loved. When you ask them, why don't you feel loved? Well, he never buys me flowers, never takes me out, he forgets all my birthdays. Valentine's Day, he says, is just a day of the year and it's like any other day. And Christmas, he doesn't get me in. She's talking like that. So her love language is gifts of service, right? And he says, I don't feel loved because, she never spends any time with me. When I come home, she's always tired. She's got a headache. When I go to get intimate with her, she has a headache. She turns over. Now and again, we do it once a week or once a month. I just don't feel like, she wants me. She doesn't desire me, right? But she'll turn around and say, well, hold up. What do you mean I don't love you? I cook for you. I clean for you. I do all the laundry. Oh, sorry, hers was gifts of service, wasn't it? Sorry. I buy you beautiful presents. I always organize your birthdays. I make sure, you've got new shoes and underwear and everything in your drawer. What do you mean I don't love you? But he's saying, but I don't want you to go out and buy me things. I don't need that. I need quality time with you. And she's sitting there dazzled, thinking, what the hell? I'm loving him because I'm buying him things and looking after him. What's wrong with him? And she's saying the opposite. So you see that the transaction between the two couples is just merely they're not doing each other's love language. They're loving the way they want to be loved because they think, well, if I do that, I'm loving this person. But that person doesn't understand that language in the same way. Don't get me wrong. Every man wants his food cooked and wants to be intimate and wants to, receive a present maybe now and again. Everyone does. But if you are ultimately missing the main love language, that person will not feel loved.
Yeah. And, that has to be something that has to be discussed early.
Yep.
Very, very early.
That's so true.
Yeah, that has to be discussed very early in a relationship because me personally, and I'm going to be candid and public about this, and I think I have on me and Zacchaeus podcast years ago, because I think we did an episode about love languages probably like 2-3 seasons ago. So I'm someone who's I appreciate all 5, but what I default to the most is physical touch and quality time.
Yeah.
So when I am vetting a woman, I'm seeing if that matches because I give it as much as I want to receive it.
Yeah. So if you had someone whose also love language was physical touch, then that would be half the problem done. Like I said earlier, if your love languages are the same, whatever they are, it makes life that much easier because you don't have to then try to do their love language because not everyone remembers because you should be doing it on a daily basis, whatever your love languages are.
Yeah, it's gonna be it's gonna be it's gonna be natural. It's gonna be something. It's muscle memory. What you default to is muscle memory. That is just something that you do. And like I said, I do all 5, but your defaults are going to be the ones that you do 80 to 90% of the time. And then you're going to have your seasons of it. There are seasons in relationships where, okay, now the other love language has to be done more. So you may not have been a words of affirmation person, but now your person now needs this more now. So then now you're going to shift more to that. You're going to have your defaults, right? But you're going to have your times throughout the year, throughout the relationship,
100.
where some of the things that wasn't your top, you're going to do. You know what I'm saying? But you're always going to do your top ones.
Agreed.
Yeah. So that's the great thing about relationships is that there's room for those. You know what I'm saying? Here's the thing, though. Now, if you're someone that doesn't get any affection in a relationship, and that is something that you want, yeah, that relationship could end. I know some women who are not affectionate at all. At all. You go to hug them, they're like, get off of me.
Oh yeah.
That is very difficult. That is very cold, too.
Yeah, you start drifting away, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, and I know there's been many women who experience that with men, so I don't want to say that that's not something that I acknowledge.
But it's not as common. It's not as common because you won't find men often. They do through periods if they're stressed or something's going on or something's not working. But generally, you won't find men pulling away as much as women. Women definitely more so.
Well, let's get into what the confusion comes in, right? Some men think physical touch is only intercourse, but affection is not intercourse. There's intercourse and then there's affection.
You know how
what happens is men.
I describe intimacy?
Well, this is what I'm saying. There are men who will, like a woman will be challenged. A woman will challenge her man with something, right? She'll say, "Oh, well, you don't give me an affection," and then he'd be like, "What you talking about? We just, got done doing what we did 10 minutes ago, right?" And she's like, "Well, that was intercourse. That wasn't affection. Right. You didn't hold that. Affection, holding hands, hugging, cuddling. He counts affection only when they're clapping cheeks. That's not affection. That's just intercourse."
Correct.
Yeah, I'm saying that. Huh?
It's a form of connection, isn't it? But it's not the be-all because you do need to do more. And the way I look at intimacy is what I say is into me you see. To me, that's intimacy.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's where communication comes in. Shout outs to Kay. Kay's in the comments. And that's where communication comes in because y'all have to have y'all when you're sitting across from each other, talking to each other. Y'all need the conversation y'all need to have is what I like this, and then you got to ask that person, okay, what does this mean to you? Because everybody there's the definition, Webster's dictionary definition, and then there's our interpretation of the definition and what we choose to use. And this is why we have to ask people, what is it to you?
Yeah. Because words have different meanings for different people, you know, from their
Mhm.
own perception, even though we have universal meanings, but they mean different things to different people based on tonality, based on how they said it, based on what they interpret that word to be. I might see disrespect completely different to you. So it is important to ask the why and how.
So, Dr. Love, you made a good point because you was talking about the old school, right? You being from the old school, me being raised from the old school, and how things may seem normal to you that may not seem normal to others of the current generation or the generation prior.
Mm-hmm.
And that is, you talked about the whole male friends thing.
Mm-hmm.
This triggers women, right?
Mm-hmm.
This triggers some men too.
Mm-hmm.
They don't understand how it looks with the whole. And I had a topic about this a couple weeks ago about can men and women be friends? And then it was like, okay, well, can friends of the opposite sex? And then it was, can your husband have female friends? And can your wife have male friends? And we talked about when it's appropriate and inappropriate, right, to engage with that. So you said that you understand if your husband was like, yeah, I don't think you should be going to the court. I don't think you should be. Well, I mean, you from the UK, they do tea. I don't think you should be going to the tea house.
Yeah.
With Jake,
Mm-hmm.
and then you understand why you shouldn't go, but then your female friend may be like, dang girl, why your husband tell you can't go? What's wrong with that? So she don't see a problem. So
Correct.
she see a problem with it, but you don't.
Correct. But then you see, part of being old school, we're raised slightly different. We're raised very insular anyway.
Yeah.
So we think slightly differently and we're very resilient. So when it comes to, opinions of others, we don't get influenced as much because we think for our own self. Or I am quite a godly person. I'm not religions as most Muslims would class it as, but I believe in God and I have a very strong relationship, which is my very personal relationship with God. And the way I look at it is, if I have a problem, he's the one I look up to and he's the one I discuss it out loud with, because all the answers I'm looking for, I already know are within me. I just need to find where they are and what is good for my situation. So if my friend was to say, I don't even have friends like that because my friends are from my generation. They're girls that I've grown up with. So my circle of friends is very small. Yeah, I can count it on one hand, but those girls have been with me from the age of 4, 11, and 22 and 25. So those have been my best friends. I have acquaintances, but if I have, a girls' night out or if I meet up, it's with those friends. I don't tend to bring new people in, and that's just a personal thing. So for me, my friends don't even think like that. And I wouldn't associate myself with people whose mindset didn't align with me because we're just on different pages.
Yeah, that's very
That's
smart. Go ahead, Beyonda.
that's very refreshing to hear because in my experience, a lot of girls have friends that like, the saying misery loves company. Like they're like if there's a girl in a happy, healthy marriage or relationship, that single friend will,
Yeah.
sabotage.
Do you want to come out?
know?
Do you want to come out? Do you want to do this? Do you want to do that?
Exactly.
If
So
you're
it's like,
married,
a lot of women
if you're
don't hold
married,
themselves accountable, which is really unfortunate.
they don't. But when I was married, and my 4 closest friends that are raised with me, one was married, one unfortunately, husband was a con artist, came from abroad. She had twins with him, and he only wanted a visa. So unfortunately, her marriage broke down. And you know, she's one of my best friends. But if I ever had issues in my relationship, I wouldn't be, you know, discussing it with her, for example. Not because I don't trust her or know her or she doesn't know me. She just won't relate because she's not in that situation, you know. And if we ever went out, it would generally be at one of the girls' houses, or it would be for dinner, you know, and we'd come straight home, you know. So it's not let's go clubbing, because I'd imagine, even though those are my bestest friends and they're all females, if I was going out clubbing every other month with my female friends and two are single, I can't imagine my partner feeling completely secure with that. And whether it's not about, it is trust, but I wouldn't want him to feel any certain way, because if the roles were reversed, you know, I probably would be okay with it because I believe in freedom. I believe in no control. But men think slightly different.
Yeah, I would say from my experience with my fiance, who doesn't even go out really at all, but like in the beginning, she used to go out, and I was never like controlling in the sense that I don't want you to go. It was more so like who you're going with,
Yeah.
and like for me, it's all about safety, right? So like on make sure that you're safe and whatnot, and make sure that you're around people who also have like a boyfriend or a husband, because then I feel better about it, rather
You're on the
than
same
you just
page.
be out with your
Yeah.
friends. So that's how
I
I
had a
think.
couple, the lady's reaching her 50s, and she's with a partner. They're not married, but they live together. They've been together 20 years. And all of a sudden, he thinks she's going through midlife crisis. But all of a sudden, she wants to go out. She wants to go clubbing. He's not really an outgoing person like clubs. And she's going out with her cousins who are like in their 30s, 35s. And the last time she went out, they went to a bar, and someone came to chat up the cousin because she was single. But because it was just the two of them, the guy that was chatting her up also had a friend. So the woman in the relationship was stuck with this guy. I don't know what happened, if anything did happen, but she was stuck talking to him while the single friend was getting it on with the guy. And then them two disappeared for a bit, and then these two were left talking. And when she got back, her partner kicked off. And I can understand why he kicked off. You know, and it's things like that. See, these kind of things, they start causing problems. And I kind of think there are some problems in relationships we can very easily avoid. Why bring extra tension into a relationship when it's not really necessary? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. I got to ask y'all a question since y'all the only two up here. When does can compromise turn into control?
Yeah.
Go ahead, brother.
Yeah. A compromise can turn into gaslighting. It can turn into manipulation. It definitely can. If it's not done in a healthy way, it'll morph into that for sure.
Yeah, I think it can as well. Knowingly or unknowingly, I think it can. Depending on what the compromise is.
And who's making it too? Like if this like if you're with someone, obviously like one of you is the smarter one, right? So the smarter one making the compromise, is it beneficial to both you and the other person, or is it only beneficial to the person making the compromise, or the person voicing the compromise itself? You have to analyze that. If you can analyze what your partner is saying, and you can't see any benefit to like what you're getting from it, then you shouldn't even like agree to the compromise itself.
Mm.
So I'll give an example.
Mm.
So beyond me and you're the only two men up here.
Mm.
Your woman gets dressed.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
you see what she looking like. You a man. You know what you looking at. And then you say, "Baby, I'm gonna need you to take that off. It's showing too much."
Yeah.
That can be interpreted.
Yeah.
As control.
Nah, I don't.
No, that can be. I'm not saying that it
Can be,
is.
yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
just
it can.
saying that depending on the woman you got.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, Beyonda.
What's funny about that is she'll ask me. So that's why I don't think that, like, for me, it doesn't, feel like control, because like she's asking me what I think about it, and then I'm like, oh, well, it's too much. And she'll be like, okay, she'll change, you know.
Mm.
But most of the time, I'm okay with what she wears because it's not like anything revealing. But there are times where they ask me, and I'm like, that one's okay, but you could do better. And then she'll change. So I'm
Dr.
at
Dr. Love, from a woman's perspective, how you feel about that?
It's an interesting one because I wouldn't want someone to tell me how to dress and how not to dress. I wouldn't like it because I don't like any form of control. So for me, I'm almost like I've got an allergy if anyone's controlling. And I think that's from my past. So for me, it's about autonomy. So I think if someone told me, because I feel I dress decent. So in my opinion, I already dress fairly modest. Don't get me wrong, I may look sexy now and again, but it's still, in my eyes, modest, because that's a standard I hold for myself. I don't want to be going out somewhere where everything's hanging out and you can see everything. That to me is unclassy as a personal preference to me. So I wouldn't dress like that anyway. But let's say I've got a pair of jeans on, skinny jeans on, and a tight top, but it's all tucked in, everything, nothing's really showing. And my partner said, nope, your jeans are too tight. I'd feel uncomfortable because if I feel comfortable wearing them and I feel womanly and I don't feel like I'm, exposing, okay, it might be a pair of skinny jeans, but if my partner had a problem with that, I'd feel uncomfortable. Why? If I was going out in a mini skirt and a small top and I was going out without him, I could totally understand that, but I wouldn't dress like that. So do you see what I mean? So it depends, or, in my culture, even if you wear a pair of trousers and a top, that might not be okay for some men, and I'll be fully covered. But because I've got a pair of trousers on and a top, that's just not okay for them. I should be dressing more modestly in a Asian outfit as opposed to a Western one. So for me, there's a line.
Can I
Yeah.
respond?
Hey?
Can I respond, Fifth?
Yes, of course.
Go ahead.
I think a lot of women don't understand. This is what I think, right? I hear what you're saying. I would say that modern day conveniences make it to where women don't really know, like, the havoc that men could cause, you know? And since men know other men the best, and we understand, like, a lot of guys that don't have their screws tight in their head, So, like, if a man is saying, I don't think you should wear that, it's not even like controlling. It's more so like protecting you from other guys.
But you see, the thing is, right, you have different mindsets. So for example, Beyonda, I don't know what you culturally, where you're from. But if you're from like a Western society, if you were standing next to a Pakistani man, for example, right, your mindsets are going to be different. You're both men and you both know how other men think. But you might look at me and think, oh my God, my woman dresses so modestly. She's actually really decent. And I love how she dresses, right? She's got style, but she keeps it kind of, covered, everything. Whereas the Pakistani man, his mindset will absolutely be the opposite. It'll be like, nah, that's not totally not okay. Can you see the point I'm making?
Yeah, I get it, and yes, the different cultures are have different like dress codes and whatnot. I know that in the East they have the women wear hijabs and things
Yes.
that protect them, which I'm not real. I kind of respect that. Like over here in America, we don't have that because that's not what our culture is. But I get the premise as to why they do that. That makes sense.
Yeah. But that's not for so much the man. That's your own journey with God, right? And for you, and there's no, I mean, that we're going into a thingy, but there's nowhere actually stipulated that you have to wear a hijab. That's just culture. Some cultures wear it, some don't. Religiously, we don't have to. We have to just be covertly, modestly dressed. And it is very openly written, adapt to the community you're with, but be modest in what you wear, and that's the instruction I stay with. There's loads of people that would disagree with me and say, nope, you have to cover yourself from head to toe because that's what it says. But it actually, what I've researched, no.
Yeah, we don't have Sharia. We don't have Sharia law over here, but yes, in
I
those
think
countries. Yeah, go ahead, beyond
I think my biggest point is that safety is number one thing, and it's just important for you to like not put yourself in situations where things can happen.
Correct.
So if we're going downtown, downtown, I would never go downtown, but if me and her going downtown, if she's wearing something like kind of like revealing, I'm gonna say it's probably not the best thing to wear if we're going downtown. Now if we're going ABC, sure, but we're going XYZ. So I would suggest you don't wear that. That's my only thing. It's like it's all about the situation you're in, the environment. That'll change what I think about what you're wearing versus what you think you should be wearing.
Guys, sorry, I have to go. I have to get my little ones into bed and stuff. So thank you so much for the opportunity. I'll catch you again, both of you. What day is it today? Thursday. I'll hopefully catch you on Tuesday.
All right, thank you.